gentlemen, welcome to another episode of What the Truck. I'm your host, Malcolm Harris. It is Wednesday, December 10th. You could have been anywhere else, but you're here with me for the next 45 minutes on the dot, and I appreciate that. Guys, welcome again to another episode of What the Truck. Super excited today because it's a festive themed show, and I'm going to get into it because on deck, we're going to be joined by somebody who is going to present one of the best stories I think you guys are going to hear from the holiday season. Sarah Abernathy. She is representing Kenworth Trucking Company. She is the Director of Marketing and Communications. So we're going to sit down with Sarah, and she's going to talk into and about one of the most heartwarming traditions in the industry. She is delivering the U.S. Capitol Christmas tree. I think that's going to be an awesome story you guys are going to get a lot of value out of. And then also coming up is going to be the guys from TEL. Representing, of course, is going to be a good friend of mine, Zane Holcomb. He is an owner operating leasing specialist. And Luke Lemaster, he is the VP of owner operating leasing at TEL as well. We're going to have them both in studio with me to chat. And I'm super excited to just get some insight about what it takes to be an owner operator and all the things. And again, this is a special episode of What the Truck. We are here at the 2026 Freight Market Summit. Could not be more ecstatic to be here with you all. And again, thank you so much for being here. Now, with that being said, I do want to just tell you, you need to vote. In general, you do need to vote, but then also you need to vote for America's top freight town, right? All right, you guys have seen the graphic from me, telling you to vote. There it is again, just in case. Shout out to Cody because he absolutely crushed it. But I need to hear from the people to vote on America's top freight town. So it's vote.freightwaves.com for all the information about what the top city when it comes to freight is. I've seen and checked the standings. I'm not trying to be biased, but Chattanooga is an overwhelming favorite, followed up by, I saw some Savannah, Georgia was in there. I also saw some Winter Park, Illinois. I saw some Memphis love from Memphis, so that's awesome. And then there were some random cities in there too, so it's not too late. We need that information for some great stuff ahead in 2026. So make sure you vote. Again, vote.freightwaves.com. Now, before we get to Sarah, and she's going to have an awesome interview with me, let's go to jail for a little bit. Nah, I'm not serious. We're not going to jail. I pray I never go to jail. Y'all, my bald head, I'll be done in jail. But let's talk about this founder. All right. So apparently, looking at this story, guys, a logistics startup founder loses their appeal for a conviction and has a 20-year sentence. So this is Christopher Kirchner. He is officially staying in prison because there was a unanimous decision handed down by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit, essentially saying like, hey, these charges are going to be not coming down anytime soon. So he's 38 years old, according to the Federal Bureau of Prisons, and has a release date of September 6, 2040. All right. So anywhere from misconduct, diverting funds for personal use, there was a lot happening. And even his own team was very, very confused about where certain things were going within the actual space. So I saw this article yesterday, and I thought, like, listen, like this needs to be top of mind. So shout out to John Kingston again for bringing this to us. And for more information on this one, definitely visit our website at www.freightwaves.com. Next, President Trump is, of course, in the news. There is a threatening of a potential 5% tariff happening over disputed water delivery. So I saw this one and I was like, okay. This was presented yesterday again from Noy Mahoney, who covers a lot when it comes to cross-border here at FreightWaves. So there's about an 800,000 owed acre feet under the 1944 treaty. So this is a lot. So we saw this tweet yesterday. Mexico continues to violate our comprehensive water treaty, and this violation is seriously harming our beautiful Texas crops and livestock. The longer Mexico takes to release the water, the more our farmers are hurt. Mexico has an obligation to fix this now. This was a tweet that was placed yesterday by President Trump, and there will be more on this to come. Of course, there was some feedback. There has been a 3-year drought, and Mexico has been complying to the extent that water has been available. And this was according to the Mexican president, Claudia Sheinbaum. So this is, again, a statement that was made in April. So more to come on this, but wanted to highlight that piece from Noy as well. And then finally, my first job all time, at the beginning of time, rather, coming out of graduation, which I actually graduated yesterday. It'll be, I want to say a decade that, well, no, it's 9 years since I've graduated from college. But my first job was Enterprise. And Enterprise is officially getting into the trucking game right now. So for those that don't know, I saw this has just happened. Enterprise is officially completing their acquisition of Hogan. So the deal is going to add a rolling stock totaling more than 10,000 units to provide to Enterprise's portfolio. And it's kind of giving them this entry into the heavy truck space. So shout out to Enterprise, definitely making some awesome moves as we head into 2026. Now, speaking of awesome moves, I want to talk about a jolly and awesome move because, again, her and the entire team at Kenworth Trucking Company are doing some awesome stuff. I want to now bring to the show Sarah Abernathy, the Director of Marketing Communications at Kenworth. Sarah, can you hear me okay? How's everything going?
I can hear you well, Malcolm. Good morning. How are things?
Things are awesome.
I
Things
say
are
afternoon.
awesome. No, no, it's like a gray area. I mean, anytime. I mean, the
Yeah.
rule of thumb is if it's before noon, you say good morning. If it's after noon, you say good afternoon. But I'm gonna let you slide because it's somewhere. I mean, it's that gray area. So. Well, I really appreciate you for being willing to hop on the show, and I'm excited to talk through this because this is one of the, I would just say, most interesting stories that I've heard in some time. And you played a key part in one of the most heartwarming traditions in trucking, delivering the U.S. Capitol Christmas tree. Walk us through. This has been something that's happened for years, but what does it just mean to you personally before we even get into the bulk of the interview?
Well, I love that question because it's one that I hadn't really thought about until you asked it. What does it mean to me personally? And it's an opportunity to connect both with, history. Every year we do haul this Capitol Christmas tree across the country from wherever it might be coming from, near or far, to Washington, D.C. We've done that for the past 12 years. And as part of that, for me, it is an awesome opportunity to be a part of something that every American should be so proud of. Seeing the National or Capitol Christmas tree, excuse me, lit up on the west lawn of the Capitol building last week was such a special experience. And it's kind of one of those pinch me moments of I really get to be a part of this. And we had such a big hand in making this happen. So I'd say not to dodge the question, but it's not so much about what it means for me personally as what it means for Kenworth and for this year Night Swift and for so many Americans across the country that now get to see this beautiful Nevada hosted Christmas tree out on the West Lawn. So there's immense pride. I think that's a good way to summarize that. Immense pride in the campaign, in the tree, and the truck that brought it across the country.
Sarah, that is one of the best answers I've ever heard on What the Truck. You definitely were prepared for that one, so I love that. Now I want to talk because this partnership has, according to my research, this is 12 straight years that this has happened. Walk
Yeah.
me through why is this so meaningful for when it comes to Kenworth specifically? I mean, that just being committed for that long, there definitely has to be some value added too.
Absolutely. I think the biggest piece of that is going to be our connection to communities across the country.
Yeah.
And I think it's easy for excuse me, company to say that, right? I mean, trucks are everywhere. Trucks fuel the economy. We do so much all across the country. But I would say the bigger piece of it is that engaging with each community along the stops, along the whistle stop tour is really, really special. And on top of that, we also do have a quick little stop at our manufacturing facility in Chillicothe, Ohio. So there's the same pride that I feel being over on the communication side of the house. I think our employees in Chillicothe, Ohio at our manufacturing facility also feel that same amount of pride. And so we have a great opportunity to engage there as well. Overall, it's just an honor. It is a privilege, and it's one that we look forward to continuing for years to come.
For people who may not know just and realize really how big of an undertaking this is, I want to put it in perspective. What does a 3,700-mile, 9-state Christmas tree tour actually look like from the Kenworth side? I mean, because I can't even wrap my big head around it, and my head's pretty large. So, like, I know people are like, okay, this is nuts.
Well, you're not alone. I got a melon as well. But I will say, It really doesn't look like all that much. And that's on purpose. And I don't mean that to diminish the value of it, but our trucks are designed to drive across the country and back and forth and back and forth and to just keep eating up miles. So 3,700 miles is a drop in the bucket for one of these trucks. And we engineer our trucks to be the driver's home, to be comfortable for anybody making a journey of that length or any length across or around the country. So when it comes down to what an undertaking this really is, and you can see the harvest there, it is no small feat to get that tree onto the trailer, but when it comes to eating up those miles, we make it as easy as possible. And so from that perspective, it's all in the hands of the driver. It's all hopefully in the hands of a comfortable driver at the helm of our T680. Michael Porter was our fabulous celebrity this year. He was a great representative for the tour, which I'm sure we'll talk about him more in a bit. But it was really seamless. We tracked the truck via our Truck Tech Plus technology. We had a tree tracker that you could check in on live as the truck made its journey. But beyond that, it really just was a routine drive across the country with a big, very special load.
Nah, we're definitely going to talk about Michael Porter in just a second. I want to, and this is perfect transition to the next segue of the interview because I want to talk about the truck specifically. And it hauled the Silverbell. This is the Kenworth T680 with a Packard MX-13 and digital vision mirrors. All right, there's a lot going on that I just said. Why was this the truck for the job?
Excellent question. And we love talking about our trucks. They're our pride and joy, right? Our
Oh, yeah.
products. But the truck that was chosen for this journey is one that really is decked out with all of the features and amenities to make Michael's journey as comfortable and as easy as possible. He spent a lot of hours in that truck to go 3,700 miles and to make all those stops and to navigate a lot of different terrains, towns, cities, open road, all that good stuff. And so this particular truck, like you mentioned, featured an MX-13 455 horsepower engine. It had ample power to do everything that it needed to do to tackle the route that it was slated to run. It also featured the TX12 transmission. So again, there's not a lot of thinking about what gear you're in, all that good stuff. It does automate everything, but it does so in a way that still gives the driver plenty of control, keeps it comfortable, and keeps it predictable and really an easy experience again for that driver. Now, the digital vision mirrors that you mentioned, that is a really important piece of this truck, and it's one that Michael actually did comment on. I will say he, of course, has plenty of miles under his belt, so well experienced, but the trucks that he drive didn't have digital mirrors. So this was his first foray with those mirrors. And when I got to speak with him about him, he said they were really great. They worked better at night than he expected. They were just enhanced his visibility overall. I'm also a CDL myself, and I have to admit I was with him on the skepticism camp at first with digital mirrors, but they come across great. They're excellent especially in inclement weather, which Michael was fortunate they didn't have a ton of inclement weather, just a little bit of snow coming down off the mountain once they had just harvested the tree. But beyond that, those mirrors were just keeping him comfortable, keeping his visibility top notch rather, and kept the drive as easy as possible.
This is such a cool story. I mean, I was thinking, and you answered a follow-up question I had, and I want to talk specifically about, do high visibility hauls like this help drive awareness of how advanced modern trucks are compared to what the general public thinks an actual semi is?
I would say yes. I will admit that the focus, of course, is on the very special load, is on that tree, right? And the truck is just a piece of the puzzle. There's so many sponsors and so many folks that make everything come together and make it all happen. Special shout out to the Society of American Foresters and the team that really orchestrates all this, and that's part of why it was such an easy lift for us at the Kenworth team as well. But the visibility of hauling the Capitol Christmas tree is, again, it's not just an honor. It's not just a day in the life of long haul trucking, right? But the education on how far trucks have come, I would say, has become more prominent in a lot of the engagement that we now see in the campaign. So again, we have to bring up Michael again. He was such a celebrity. He did such a fabulous job in so many different social media and engagement activities that both the Society of American Foresters and other sponsors had helped put on throughout the campaign. And in that, the truck was a piece of that puzzle, right? He was speaking to, how easy, how comfortable, how just, routine everything was. And that's all that we can ask for. But I don't know that that was the key takeaway. The key takeaway was still just, this is an awesome tree. bringing great pride and honor to the state of Nevada as its homeland there, for Miss Silverbell. But I think all told, there's so much that you can take away from the Capital Christmas Tree campaign. It's just what you want, whether that's holiday spirit, whether it's learning a little bit more about the trucks that we put out on the market today, or just getting excited for the holiday season.
No, most definitely. And as you can tell, that lovely image the team put up, that looks absolutely stellar. Just over the cab, just breathtaking, man. I love it. You know, you were going to put me out of a job because your transitions are the best that I've had from a guest. Because we are literally about to talk about Michael Porter right now. He called this one of the highlights of his driving career. So, how does Kenworth partner with carriers like Knight Swift and others while also selecting the right driver specifically to haul something that is so public and something that is this symbolic?
Yes. So what we like to do is pay homage to the home state of where the tree is harvested. So in years past, we've had carriers like Linden Transportation. For last year, we had our tree coming out of the state of Alaska. So we try and look at where are some great fleets and great customers and operators in the state wherever that tree is harvested. So we're already looking ahead to next year to see where that tree might be coming from. We can't divulge anything on that yet, but we'll look to hopefully highlight a carrier that's based or located around the region in which the tree comes from. And from that point onwards, we really do leave it and we trust the carriers. They know best. They know their drivers best. They know who's going to be the very best and most qualified for a job like this. And we put our trust in them, as does the Society of American Foresters, to really make sure that they have the complete package, somebody that is experienced, is able to engage with folks that they meet along the way, and most of all, just bring the tree safely along across the country to the nation's capital.
Well, I definitely think he delivered and delivered in a big way. I want to talk specifically because oftentimes specifically in projects that are really large, right? The human aspect almost gets lost. It's like, hey, just get there, get there, get there. Kenworth and the rest of your team, to me, I mean, just on the outside looking in, have really almost been like overly nice about making sure there's a human aspect. Where does that come from? Where are you all able to just keep the main thing, which is the driver and understanding like we're all in this thing together?
I love that question. It is one where I think it speaks to the culture at Kenworth. I think it speaks to a lot of what, people in the industry, if you speak to drivers, and I'm sure, I know you do a lot of that, learning about what's important to them. When we engineer a truck, when we think about a truck, we're building it for a driver. We're building it for somebody to spend their days in and to be comfortable in. And that's a really central core tenet as to what we do here. And that comes across in every way. I think that we try to interact with the public and portray what we're doing. It's very genuine. I think it's very important. It's so critical. And so when it comes to a public campaign like this that so many people can engage with, the human element is one that's just intrinsic within it. It's part of the big story here, and that story drives, or is driven, I should say, literally and figuratively, by a driver like Michael Porter. So didn't mean to have a pun in there, but
No, I
hopefully
loved
that
it.
drives that point home.
It definitely drove it home. You had a lot of fun there. I'm sorry, I started laughing too. I thought that was hilarious. All right, so let's talk when it comes to challenges and execution here. I'm sure there's things that have happened, and I kind of want you just to give us a at a glance look because I mean this year's route had what 15 community stops, and what kind of behind the scenes coordination does Kenworth handle during, I mean, let's just call it a tour like this because it feels like it's for sure like an actual tour, and Michael is a rock star doing this thing.
He is, and it absolutely was. I have to give again more credit to our friends at the Society of American Foresters. They really are the architects behind this tour. They're the ones who organize all of those whistle stop tours, and they work closely with sponsors like us, like the presenting sponsor 84 Lumber, Hail Trailer, so many others, to make the stops along the way that are most valuable and that connect with as many communities as humanly possible in that short journey and that short window of time that we have from wherever the tree is coming from all the way across to the nation's capital. So big shout out to them, to Christina Booth, Elizabeth, and team for making that tour as wonderful and as well orchestrated as it was. We really end up having to do very little when it comes to all the planning and things around that. We help coordinate our stop over at Chilla Coffee, but they really are the architects, the puppet masters, if you will, behind all that madness. And they put together a top-notch whistle stop tour this year, and it was just excellent to watch. It was excellent to engage in virtually. I'm over here in Seattle, so I didn't get to be a part of so many of those stops, but they were there on the ground and they were making sure that everything went off without a hitch. So any challenges, I will never know. It was all perfect from what we know.
I love that, and definitely you're doing a great job out of Seattle. I'll just let you know because you're executing, and this is fantastic stuff. Now, outside of the obvious, and I'm sure your team has shared some stuff with you. Is there anything that is just kind of bizarre that happened with this? I mean, when it comes to, I mean, I don't want to talk about length or a flat tire. I mean, height, width, all the obvious things. Is there something that's just like, all right, this popped up and this is how we addressed it?
Hmm.
Anything off the top?
Normally, the answer is absolutely. There are things that, from the outward perspective, you'd see, or rather, you wouldn't see, and that's on purpose. If we've done our job, you know nothing of any of those fun little nuggets or challenges that have been encountered. From our perspective here, truly, there was not anything. I was always looking out for, what if something goes wrong with the truck or with the tour or something, and kind of keeping my phone close by when the tree was on the road and checking our Truck Tech Plus tracker pretty regularly just to make sure everything was going the way it should. But we have such a strong team of folks that know what needs to be thought about, what needs to be prepared, what needs to be put together and handled as best we can before anything should happen, right? Try and be proactive about whatever could go wrong and planning for it. But I think I'm pretty okay to say this and proud to say it, that there really wasn't any major hiccup. There wasn't anything that we had to really scramble to get, fixed or done or tightened up. And I think barring anything, hopefully for the next year, we are looking forward to continuing to build upon our knowledge and taking the same level of expertise and preparedness and applying it to 2026 campaign as well. So hopefully again, you see nothing out of the ordinary because there's nothing out of the ordinary.
That is a awesome answer. No, I can definitely say confidently that you guys have had 12 years and it'll for sure be 13 because just the high level of execution and you specifically, I want to talk about your background. I mean, being able to get into an industry like this and tell stories like this and market a brand as prestigious as Kenworth is it's nuts. It really is. Sometimes I'm sure you have like pinch me moments, but if you could give advice
Absolutely.
to somebody who wants to, one day get in a role like yours or wants to work in the space and tell stories like you, what's advice? Because I mean, your career and doing research, you've done it all. You have literally done everything under the sun.
Oh my goodness. Well, you flatter me. I have so much more I still have to do and figure out and learn. But I'd say one of the biggest pieces of advice that I would give is just to always be curious. That's probably what you hopefully you gathered that probably from a background too. It's just that always trying to figure out, asking questions. What is your experience, Michael? What is it like from the Society of the American Foresters perspective? What is it like driving trucks? What is it? Tell me more about your experience. And I think doing that and having just a really curious perspective and mindset has been, I won't say it served me well in my career, not to paint it in that perspective, because it's just more about that's just more how I am. I'm just always going to be bugging people and asking folks questions about various areas. Going back from my pre-Kenworth time in consulting over in the DC area, I worked in international tax of all things, which is not as exciting as it might sound. But in that world, got to learn a lot about a lot of different things, from manufacturing to aircraft manufacturing to just a whole onslaught of industries. And that was really, really neat to build that breadth of experience. And it helped feed my own, I guess, I don't want to say self discovery, but it helped me understand where I wanted to go. And that was into transportation. From there, then jumping into this role here with Kenworth, it really kind of came naturally just from the perspective of trucks are awesome. Trucks are so cool. Transportation is such an important piece of not just the economy, but of everything from day to day life to bringing the Christmas tree across the country. It's everywhere. And so having, being in an industry that makes such an impact and uses tools and really has just such a neat storied history like Kenworth and building the trucks that we build the world's best trucks, not just, by a namesake, but because we really set out to do that, to build the world's best trucks and have the world's best people as a part of that story. So it's this is a very long roundabout way of saying remain curious. That's my piece of advice, but that will take you very far into whatever industry you might want to head into, transportation or otherwise.
Such sound advice from a great, great leader in the space. Now, last thing before I get you out of here, Sarah, when it comes to 2026, without spoiling too much, what's on deck and what's on horizon for Kenworth? Can you give us some insight?
Yes. So we're really excited for 2026. I can't give any spoilers, can't give any hints on where the tree might be coming from. That we'll just have to wait and find out. But we are so excited to continue our partnership and to continue to build upon the great engagement that we had across the country this year. This year's campaign, again, another shout out to the Society of American Foresters. They were really great partners in drumming up interest and being active on social media and just lighting everything up on, on the internet side of things that helped bring interest both near, far, wide, online, and in person. And I think we're going to really try and push for that again this coming year, really build upon that foundation, and have additional opportunities for engagement, both in communities, both online, engaging with our customers and our followers, and really just helping to try and partner with the Society of American Foresters, the U.S. Capitol Christmas Tree Campaign, and just get more engagement, get people more excited about the tree next year, no matter where it comes from. We can all be excited about the people's tree at our nation's capital. And I think 2026 will be no different, just another opportunity to get more people excited.
Sarah Abernathy, Director of Marketing Communications at Kenworth Truck Company. Thank you so much, Sarah. Where can we go to get more information about Kenworth, about this story, as well as just the rest of your team and awesome organization there at Kenworth?
Thank you so much, Malcolm. I was going to say head to kenworth.com. You can find all the info about our trucks there. Head to our social media accounts at Kenworth Truck Co. We have all of our posts through the campaign. Those are all, of course, up there for everyone to check out. You can see some great features on Michael. Check out that Society of American Foresters and USCCT accounts as well. But overall, we're so excited to partner with the U.S. Capitol Christmas Tree and continue to be a part of this very special holiday tradition. Thank you again for having me, Malcolm.
Hey, thank you so much for being here, Sarah. Looking forward to hopefully having you back on the show in 2026. That was an awesome interview with Sarah. Guys, you never know. And just pull this up since you guys got it pulled up one more time so I can see this tree. This is fantastic, man. So if you're in the DC area, definitely feel free to check this out. And now you guys have a story behind it and tell them I sent you. Nah, kidding. Seriously, go check that out. Awesome stuff from Kenworth and their team. Now we're going to transition because joining me on set, you guys, y'all can come up at any time. I'm good to go. Got some guys in the building, man, and I want to introduce them both. Luke Lemaster, the VP of Owner Operating Leasing at TEL, as well as my guy, man, a colleague of mine, a good buddy of mine, Zane Holcomb, Owner Operator Leasing Specialist at TEL, is joining the show. Fellas, welcome.
Hey, glad to be here.
Glad you guys are here. How's everything going?
Well, doing well.
You guys, I mean, I got some holiday. I didn't want to go home and change, so I got on a sweater.
That's
but
fair. Well, I mean, you gotta rep your.
yeah, I gotta do what I do. The blue looks good.
Thank you.
Blue looks good. How's everything going so far? Had a good week so far?
Yeah, so always busy this time of year. Everyone winding down stuff and then cranking other things up. So it's always good. Always a good time.
Nice. I mean, well, today, again, we're going to talk, just all about telling what you guys are doing. I mean, obviously, I want to start and let's kind of look at the market because rates are soft, fuel costs are high, new entrants aren't as common as they used to be. Why is now still a good time for someone to consider becoming an owner-operator, considering, I mean, it feels like there's a lot of obstacles right now, and either one of you guys can hop in.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there's probably never, I mean, there's a lot of advice out there for a lot of people, right? But I think one of the biggest things is there's never a better time to start than now. Right. You can start your journey. Yes, there's going to be challenges no matter what. And even when, back in the quote unquote crazy days here around COVID, I mean, money was falling out of trees, but there was still challenges, right? And part of those challenges is a lot of people who became owner operators during that time didn't really learn how to be an owner operator and didn't really learn how to run their business.
Yeah.
So, that's always a challenge. So I think you can always start. I mean, still, no matter what, being an owner operator, generally, yes, there's more risk, but there's always going to be more reward.
For sure.
And again, it's just what you put into it and how hard you want to work and how smart you want to be. And, that's kind of where we come in a little bit. We handle a lot of the support in the back end once you're in a lease with us. So we try to do everything we can to just have drivers concentrate on driving. They have enough going on in their world.
I love that. Drivers concentrating on driving.
It's a wild concept, eh? It's this weird, wild thing that a driver should just have to, drive and worry about that. They have enough stuff going on around them.
I agree. Zane, I know you talk to drivers every single day, and what's the biggest fears or questions you hear when someone's talking about stepping into ownership?
I would say the biggest is getting out of the role of the company driver thing. Like he had kind of mentioned, they're kind of used to having their hand held. So what we like to do at TEL is kind of help with that process. Switching over from company to owner operator, and a big transition would be just you're handling your own business. It's something as far as you're in control of your own business, and there's not a lot of handholding, and we're trying to bridge that gap.
For sure. Now, Luke, are there any trends in driver behavior that stand out, like younger drivers looking for independence versus an experienced driver upgrading their business? I mean, what are those things you're seeing right now?
Yeah, it's kind of a mix of both, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I will say this. I think there has been, as drivers are getting older and drivers are kind of aging out, I think the driver experience has changed so much in the last 20 years, right?
For sure.
So a lot of the drivers who are in that older age group, that's 60, 65, I mean, a lot of them are still going 70 just because they love it and they love seeing the country, right?
They love the game.
And more. They love the game. But you kind of have this new generation that's kind of coming up, and they have different wants, they have different needs, they have different things that they're looking for. So I mean, there's been a little bit, I would call, lack of mentorship, right? And some of it just has to do with the experiences that people went through in trucking compared to what a driver has to go through now are so different, and things have changed so much with brokerages, with tracking and tracing and cameras and this and every little thing you name. All that's really the last 10, 15 years.
Absolutely.
So it's just a different game. So I think there's a lot of mentorship that hasn't happened that I think used to happen. It used to be, you saw a lot of, grandpa, dad, kid, they were truckers. Trucking was in your family, it was in your blood. And you saw a lot of mentorship, and they would take that young company driver under their wing and teach them the game and teach or her the game and do those things, right?
Sure.
And I think that's kind of changed a little bit over time. Just, one, there's a lot more demands on a driver, there's a lot more rules, a lot more regulations. Just quite honestly, there's a lot more people on the road.
Yeah.
There's more obstacles.
It's crazy,
and you have tracking calls and tracing calls and, everybody and their mother coming after you in your safety department. And, it's a different game. And I think, I wish there was more of that mentorship that it used to kind of be there. And that is part of what we provide. And we actually do at TEL is once you're in a lease with us, we don't just say, hey, here's your truck. Good luck.
Yeah.
We have a whole advising department that walks through people every step of the way. We're here to help you every step of the way. We have tools to kind of help you learn how to run your business. And then once you do learn your business, once you do have that down, we're willing to say, okay, now you want to be a 2-3 truck, you want to grow into an actual business. Well, we're going to be here to support you.
Wow.
So, I just think that's a big thing. I wish there was more of it, but hopefully one day we get back to a little bit more of that mentorship naturally and have more of that coalescence of drivers kind of being more of a family than they are now.
Zane, you've been in the game for a long time, man. I've seen you go, and do some incredible, things. Talk to me a little bit about what does it take for a driver to thrive, and is there specifically something that they have to have, and because this is tough, like the ask and getting into this space specifically and becoming profitable. That's something that is hard to do. What are the first rules of thumb that you're telling? All right, you're stepping into this game. Do this immediately.
You got to want it.
Yeah.
Drive. No pun intended. You got to have the drive.
Yeah.
And it's not like it was a few years ago with the current market. You got to really, really want it. And it's not easy money. It's something that you got to really be prepared to. Like I said earlier, you're owning your own business, and
For sure.
there's a lot of extra things that go into play with that. And you got to be serious about it, and you got to be
ready.
Got to be ready.
Got to be ready. Now, Luke, talk to me a little bit about, I mean, because there's a lot of these different programs, like lease trucking programs out there.
Yeah.
What's so unique and different about TEL? Like, is it technology? Is it support? Is it a combination of things? I mean, what am I missing here?
It's a combination of things, really. You know, so we're different in that you come to us. I mean, we partner with carriers
Right.
in one direction, and then you also can come to us and go run for whatever carrier you want. You know, traditional lease purchase, you sign on with a carrier, you sign on with a company, you know, you lease purchase through them, and they pretty much control everything.
Right.
Right. Whether that's good, bad, or ugly. I've run a small trucking company, and I've run an 80 truck fleet. I've had owner operators. I've done lease purchase programs. You know, we were successful to a point, but there's also things change. Things change in an owner operator's life, right? I mean, you might be 2 years in and you're having your first kid. Well, your running patterns are going to change.
Oh yeah.
You know, and that stuff's going to change. You know, someone gets sick, your mom gets sick, your dad gets sick, your kid all of a sudden is now of age where they're playing sports. Like how you run and what you want to do can change dramatically over 3 to 5 year periods. And so that traditional 5-year lease out, I mean, you're committing for 5 years that nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
And that's tough. So for us, it's a much shorter lease term. I mean, we do, you know, typically 33-month leases on a solo. And then at the end of that, you have choices and you have options.
Nice.
So one, you can just turn your truck back into us and walk away and you are done with your obligations.
Scot-free.
Scot-free, you're done. You know, your second one is you upgrade into a new piece of equipment and you keep that rolling. You know, I think there's been a lot of talk about, you know, ownership versus leasing. And, you know, we're very much, and I got 20 years of data to prove it, that long term, continually getting new equipment and using the best miles of that equipment's life will always put you in a better spot. Now, there's times when it seems real appealing to not have a truck payment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that sounds awesome. But when that truck's in the shop more, and then you have down days, and then you have all the ancillary costs with maintenance that people don't really talk about. I mean, yes, there's the fix. So it's a $3,000 fix that it takes a week. All right, well, what do you average in revenue? $5,000 that week? Well, that's another $5,000 on top of your three. Plus, you're generally staying in a hotel for 7 days, so you can add on another, $500 on that. Then you got food. You're probably stuck in a hotel without not a lot of, you know, transportation. You're stuck to whatever's right around you. That number adds up a lot more than you think it does. And so, you know, our real big philosophy is like, hey, come in every 3 years, use those useful lives, be under warranty the whole time. So if that engine blows, it's warranted.
Yeah.
You're good. You know, you don't have to worry. You're not going to lose your house. So, you know, it's just those little things. I think that's where we kind of stand apart is you should have the freedom to go where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
You should have as an owner operator, we don't want you, you know, like I said, we have carrier programs that make the barrier to entry a little bit easier than out on your own, but really we want you in those programs, learn your way. And then if you want to stay with that carrier, great. And you have that relationship and you're crushing it, awesome, stay there. Right. But if there's something else you want to do, or you want to go out on your own, that's where we're going to be there. And we have a full, you know, a maintenance staff, 24/7, 365. If there's an issue with that with that truck, you call us. And that whole department's going to handle it. We have an internal rating system on shops and what we do. So, you know, they'll even get down to the granular level of, hey, I always use the term of turbos because, you know, I think that's the greatest excuse of all time, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my turbo went out. Which
I've heard that one.
we've all heard that. We've all heard that in the brokerage game. And if that was really true, the whole freeways would be littered with turbos. But, you know, so we have, you know, you actually have a turbo going out, a real one. And we have a shop that, you know, maybe we rate a certain amount and say we did 15 repairs there, 15 turbos repaired. 14 of those were great. They had a great service, everything. The one next door, maybe they're a little bit cheaper, but only 7 out of their 15 times they did a turbo were we really happy with their service.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take you to the place and we're going to give you those options. Say, go here. It's going to get fixed right. It's going to get fixed well. You know, we audit the bills. We make sure we're warranty experts with the OEMs. You know, we know what's warrantable, what's not. I mean, most of the time, if you're in your truck by yourself and you look at that warranty, it's about that thick, maybe bigger. You know, it's like when you buy your house and they give you that giant stack of stuff and ask you to sign everything and then your hand cramps about halfway through. You know, it's kind of the same thing, but we have people who are experts on that. So it's really, we're there to support you. We're there for you just to concentrate on make your revenue,
Yep.
have a life,
Yep.
right? Manage your expenses. Let us handle all the other BS and you handle that stuff, right? So we're the support for you after you get in the truck, beyond just what your carrier gets. Because your carrier, you know, they're great and they teach you certain stuff, but they also have an end goal to get you to run their freight because that's what's important to them. they're not necessarily going to teach you this is the perfect way, because they need you to work inside their networks.
For sure.
So that's kind of how we differ a little bit from most.
No, I appreciate that insight. I want to talk about, the actual equipment and technology now, because technology is advancing fast. We know and we see it and we hear it almost weekly on this show, is talking about whether it's AI or whether there's, different bells and whistles added to trucks. We just had a story with Kenworth about some technology being added. Talk to me a little bit about the innovations right now, from a tech standpoint, from TEL, and how is this, making the lives easier of drivers and different fleets?
Depends if you talk to a driver, if they think it's making their lives easier or not.
That's a great answer.
As an OEM, and I respect Kenworth, I like the T80. We offer Freightliners and Peterbilts, right now, and probably one or two more OEMs going into next year. And when we've offered Kenworths in the past, and I think the technology is awesome. I can also tell you from the driver perspective, there's a lot they hate.
For sure.
That inward-facing camera that talks to them and tells them what they're doing wrong. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, if Siri screws up what I ask her, you get a little perturbed sometimes. Like, that's not what I asked. Can you imagine somebody sitting over your shoulder in your office and telling you what you're doing wrong at that moment in time? Sure, that gets a little annoying.
It would. Absolutely.
Very annoying. I mean, I just bought a new car for the first time in a very long time, like 12 years.
Congrats.
Thank you. But like the buzzing and the beeping and
the slave things. It's so
I'm like,
bad.
Leave me alone.
So
I know
bad.
how to drive. I've been doing this a long time. So while the technology is awesome, and there is some very cool stuff coming out, I mean, even, getting rid of the side mirrors and stuff like that, and just having that all be cameras, as long as it's working, it's great.
Yeah.
And I think all that stuff is good because it reduces, it helps with a ton of different stuff. But, for us, it's just, we're going to keep keeping up with the times with technology, and the trucks are going to continue to get better. But I do think there's going to be a limit at some point of how much they're going to be able to do, because at some point you can't price yourself out of the market. Okay. And I think the OEMs know that there's a balance between safety and technology versus, I mean, don't get me wrong, we all want the most fully loaded thing we can get, right? With all the bells and whistles.
Definitely.
But you also pay for all the bells and whistles. And I think especially in this market, the trucks have to be priced competitively where someone can actually make a living and do well, or they're not going to sell any. So it's a balance, but I mean, there's some cool stuff coming. So it's always fun to hear about the cool stuff.
It is. I want to ask you guys, one final question, and I really want y'all to think about this one. It's kind of a two-sided one. What's one thing you wish every driver knew before they try to become an owner-operator? That's the first part. The second part is looking ahead to 2026. What is the outlook for owner-operators? And for somebody who's listening and on the fence, truly, what is your message for them to kind of take that step? And I'll let you guys both have this one.
Go ahead, Zane.
Okay. I think the biggest advice, especially right now, is it's not going to be easy. I know I've said it a couple times, but if you're willing to put in that work, it could definitely be worth it. And just to stick through it, because it's not going to be like this forever. And eventually the tides are going to turn. And once the tide does turn, you'll be at the forefront and really be rocking and rolling at that point.
Definitely, Zane.
Luke? I think my number one is, it kind of piggybacks on him, is you're going to get out what you put in.
Yeah.
Right. If you go to the house every weekend and you never take a load through the house and you deliver on Friday and then you pick up on Monday, you're going to be calling me in 4 weeks and saying, I can't make my payment.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just like everything in life. It's what you put in, you're going to get out. It's your hard work's going to determine your outcome.
For sure.
So, and then I think going into next year, I think the biggest thing is if you want to make the leap, do it. Wait till February or March till we get past slow season. Position yourself to win. Have a plan in mind. Know what your bills are. Know what your expenses are, and know exactly what you need to make. And then find a place and find an opportunity that lives within those parameters. Yeah. But make sure you know what you're going into. So, and I think as far as the market's concerned, I don't know. I don't see a big change.
Yeah. Same.
I mean, I think I don't think it's. I think that everyone's cautiously optimistic, but I don't know. We've been saying that for what, 4 years now?
It's been 4 years, and I get that.
We're counting on it being the same, and if it gets a little bit better,
we'll welcome that.
Yeah, and the same thing. Find your niche and find your spot. They're out there. There's places to make money. There's still a lot of truckers out there who are doing all right. So just find your home, find your place, find what works for you, and you'll do well.
For information about TEL, where can myself and the rest of our listeners go?
Tel360.com, and phone number is
423-214-3600. 3915.
You guys got it. Luke, Zane, thank you guys so much for being on the show,
Hey,
man. I really
thank
appreciate
you.
y'all.
Thank you, boss. Appreciate you
Thank
having us.
y'all. And thank you guys for being here on What the Truck today. The 2026 Freight Market Summit is going to be continuing, and I'm super excited for what the rest of the summit has in store. What the Truck, in terms of the next few days, is going to be down south. I will be going on vacation. Guys, I'm going to Mexico, but I will see you guys very, very soon. Stay out of trouble. I promise I'll do the same. Until next time, peace.